The story of who controls the world's raw materials is a complex tapestry, woven with threads of geology, history, economics, politics, and technology. Throughout human history, access to resources like gold, oil, copper, and rare earth elements has shaped the rise and fall of empires, fueled industrial revolutions, and continues to influence the global balance of power today. To understand who truly controls the world's raw materials, it is important to recognize that control can mean different things: ownership of reserves, dominance in production, influence over supply chains, or the ability to shape prices and markets. Each of these facets is shaped by natural endowments, national policies, technological capabilities, and the ever-changing tides of global demand. Let's begin by considering some of the most critical raw materials and their major sources. For fossil fuels, oil stands as the lifeblood of modern industry and transportation. The Middle East, particularly countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates, sits atop vast reserves, with Saudi Arabia alone possessing around 17% of the world's proven oil reserves. However, Russia, the United States, and Canada are also major players, with technological advancements like hydraulic fracturing transforming the U.S. into one of the world's top oil producers. Natural gas, another crucial energy resource, sees a similar concentration. Russia has the largest reserves and is a dominant exporter, particularly to Europe. Qatar and Iran also hold massive reserves, while the U.S. again leads in production, thanks to its shale gas boom. Coal, though in decline due to environmental concerns, remains vital for electricity generation and steelmaking. China produces and consumes more coal than any other country, followed by India and the United States. Australia is a leading exporter, serving energy-hungry nations across Asia. Moving beyond fossil fuels, consider metals essential for modern infrastructure. Iron ore, the primary ingredient in steel, is heavily mined in Australia and Brazil, countries that together account for more than half of global exports. China, however, dominates demand, being both the world's largest steel producer and consumer. Copper, vital for electrical wiring and electronics, is mined most extensively in Chile and Peru, with significant output from China and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Meanwhile, alumina and bauxite, the raw materials for aluminum, are supplied mainly by Australia, China, Guinea, and Brazil. The story becomes even more intricate with so-called critical minerals, materials like cobalt, lithium, and rare earth elements that are crucial for emerging technologies such as batteries, smartphones, and renewable energy systems. The Democratic Republic of Congo is the world's main source of cobalt, a key component in lithium-ion batteries, while Australia, Chile, and China are the leading producers of lithium. Rare earth elements, essential for high-tech devices and military applications, are overwhelmingly mined and processed in China, which controls over 60% of production and much of the world's refining capacity. But having natural reserves is only part of the equation. The infrastructure to mine, refine, and transport these materials is just as important, as is the ability to shape global markets. When it comes to oil, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, remains a powerful cartel, able to influence global prices by adjusting production targets among its member states. Russia, though not a member, often collaborates with OPEC in what's known as OPEC+. China's dominance in rare earths and crucial minerals owes as much to its investments in processing and refining as to its geological endowment. By controlling key stages of the supply chain, China wields significant leverage over industries worldwide, a fact underscored when it restricted rare earth exports to Japan in 2010, during a diplomatic dispute, sending shockwaves through global markets and prompting other nations to reassess their vulnerabilities. In Africa, resource-rich countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Africa, and Guinea possess vast mineral wealth, but political instability, corruption, and lack of infrastructure often mean that much of the value is captured by foreign companies or local elites, rather than benefiting local populations. International mining giants such as Glencore, Rio Tinto, and BHP often operate across continents, negotiating with governments for exploration and extraction rights, while sometimes facing criticism over environmental and social impacts. The role of multinational corporations is significant. These entities, with their technical know-how, financial muscle, and global networks, often hold considerable sway over the extraction, processing, and distribution of raw materials. In some cases, national governments assert greater control, establishing state-owned enterprises to manage key resources. Saudi Aramco for oil, Codelco for copper in Chile, and Gazprom for gas in Russia are prime examples. The interplay of geopolitics and resource control is also evident in trade policies and strategic stockpiling. Countries may impose export restrictions, tariffs, or invest in strategic reserves to insulate themselves from supply shocks or to exert pressure on rivals. The United States, European Union, and Japan, for instance, have all taken steps to diversify their sources of critical minerals and reduce dependence on single suppliers, particularly China. Amid growing concerns about supply chain security, environmental and ethical considerations are increasingly influencing who controls and benefits from raw materials. The global push for decarbonization is reshaping demand as the world shifts away from coal and oil toward cleaner energy sources, increasing the importance of minerals like lithium, nickel, and cobalt. At the same time, there is growing scrutiny of mining's ecological footprint and its impacts on local communities. This has spurred efforts to develop more sustainable sourcing practices, recycling programs, and innovations in material science to reduce reliance on scarce resources. Technological progress is another powerful force. New extraction techniques, advances in recycling, and the development of alternative materials can alter the competitive landscape. The rise of electric vehicles, for example, has created a surge in demand for battery materials, prompting countries and companies alike to invest in new mines, processing plants, and research into battery recycling and next-generation chemistries. In summary, the control of the world's raw materials is a constantly shifting mosaic. While some nations are blessed with abundant reserves, true power lies in the ability to extract, process, and deploy these resources efficiently, responsibly, and in ways that shape global markets. Geopolitical alliances, corporate strategies, technological advances, and societal values all play a role in determining who holds sway over the materials that underpin modern life. As the world faces unprecedented challenges, climate change, technological disruption, and shifting patterns of consumption, the dynamics of resource control will continue to evolve. Those who adapt, innovate, and cooperate are likely to shape the next chapter in the ongoing quest for the world's raw materials. If you're enjoying this content and want to stay informed about the latest insights and developments, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. By joining our community, you'll gain access to more in-depth explorations of global trends, expert analysis, and fascinating stories that shape our world. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to bringing you more valuable content.